Put some hands together. Give a great Rockstar welcome to our friend, Mr. Sean Kelley. Woo. All you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. First off, it is an amazing honor to be here. I had an interesting trip in last night, and I was complaining like a big wimp until I heard Jason Harris's story. It took it to another level. But so I had 3 or 4 delays, and then missed my connecting flight. Ended up sleeping. So I was in Phoenix, and I was going to sleep there. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Well, we can't get you on this flight, so you're going to have to either drive there, which is a 5-hour drive, or get up really early and get up about 4 a.m. to fly here and land this morning." So I opted in for that route. So when Frank was talking about the first 7 seconds of you waking up is the most peaceful time, I woke up to like a 300-pound guy drooling on my shoulder. So anyway, Frank, I don't know what you're talking about, but maybe normally that's the case. But it's an absolute honor to be here, guys. I have so many like dear friends in this room. It's almost ridiculous. I almost feel like this is going to be more of a coaching conversation than a presentation. I've got Amy Smith and Lindsay. These guys give them a round of applause. They've been working with me for over a year now. We've seen amazing results. I love those ladies and their whole dealership. El Patron, my man, back there. We got Kelly Kleinman from dealershipnews.com, Sean Welsh and his entourage, JP and Jason. These guys came from Canada to Rockstar Auto Conference. So Carrie Weiss is here. Man, just Matt and Chris, obviously words beyond. Steve Werner over there, man, the guy is amazing, knows the industry like the back of his hand. So there's just so many people I've had so many great conversations in here with, and I'm really honored to be standing up here today. So I'm going to try to bring as much value as possible. And today's presentation is about culture. And before we dive into it, I'll tell you a story. And so I kind of grew up in like the Brady Bunch situation. I had 3 brothers, 3 sisters. 2 of my sisters were adopted from Korea. And we grew up in the city, and at some point about 4th grade, we moved out to the country. So it was like a culture shock going from the city to the country. But one of the things that we gained when we moved to the country was a river. We had this river nearby. It was called the Big River, and we could go swimming in it pretty much whenever we wanted. It wasn't necessarily the safest thing to do. Looking back, I'm like, man, my parents were crazy. What the hell were they thinking, letting me go swim in that river? Now you go see it during like a lot of rain, and it's so scary. But like, I don't even think I would let me swim in it or Michael Phelps swim in it, let alone me as a kid. But I go to this, we go play in this river. And one time my sisters were playing on the shore. My little brother, he's about 4 years younger than me. He starts swimming in the river. All of a sudden I look back to where he was swimming and he was gone. And I looked and I kept staring, and all of a sudden downstream a bit, I see a hand just barely come up above the surface, and it went right back under. And it scared the heck out of me, but I wanted to try to help him. So me being the big brother, I dive in after him, and I'm swimming my heart out. I catch up to him, and I see he's underwater. He's struggling for air. He can't get his head above water. So I'm like, you know what? I can go under the water and lift him up. And if I can just push him up enough to get his head above water, I think he'll be okay. So I'm doing that, and I'm like, this is going well. I could tell like I'd reached the surface and everything was going great. But then I realized, wait a minute, I can't breathe either. And I'm struggling, so then we're both drowning at this point, or trying to not drown. And it's literally out of nowhere, I guess God's blessing, we hit a branch, and we kind of grab onto this branch, and we were able to pull ourselves to shore. But if it wasn't for that branch being there, so we get to the other side of the bank, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to look straight across the current and see my sisters there. We had gone just so far. Without even realizing it, we had just got sucked in this current, and my sisters looked like little ants upstream. And in all the commotion, I didn't realize that we had traveled so far downstream. And that's kind of how a business, a culture at your business is too. You guys every day, and I don't care if you're a dealer or a vendor, or, you're in technology, if you have a company, if you have people that work together, you've got a culture as well. And it's really easy to get sucked into that current. And when you're fighting, to sell, you're fighting to grow the business, you're fighting to move up in your organization, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish each and every day, you don't realize that you don't have perspective on your culture when you're in the current. And that's what I want to talk about today, because I believe that when you have focused intent on developing your culture, you can actually steer it. You can actually create an unstoppable champion at every layer in your organization if you have focused intent, if you create a culture on purpose. And that's what this whole presentation is about. It's about how to focus and make a winning culture. And there's 4 pillars it's going to take to do it. If you think about it, look at any building, any structure. This room actually has 3 pillars. That kind of annoys me. But that being said, for the most part, there's 4 corners in this room, right? 4 pillars hold things up. So as my company, we work with dealers across the country, and one of the first things we do is we have our training, but we focus on coaching. It's customized, it's what you want most. And then we also talk about winning cultures. And the culture is just such an interesting thing because it's this nebulous, vague idea that it's almost like it's hard to define what a culture is. So I'm gonna give you guys a blueprint on how to do that, and you're gonna understand how it will impact your results. And I want you guys to be able to take, and I don't care if you're a salesperson or a GM, if you're like JP or a part owner like El Patron, I want you to be able to take this stuff back and implement it no matter what layer you're at in your organization. So the 4 pillars that make a culture healthy, all right, are communication. We have to be able to communicate across every department, across every vertical layer in your organization. There has to be open, candid, honest communication. The second pillar is alignment to the direction of the company. Does everyone know where the bus is going and why it's going there? Thirdly is clarity around expectations. Without clear expectations, people make up their own. And then the 4th pillar that makes a culture extremely healthy and strong, or fall flat on its face or anywhere in between, is the value of people. Everyone must understand the value that every player brings to the team. So these are the 4 areas we're gonna dive into today. And if we can focus on each one and improve each one, we can create a winning culture on purpose that is intentional. So when it comes to communication, we have a lot of different, any BDC people in the house, raise your hand, okay? Sales people, sales floor, okay? Management, all right, man, all these different, service, any service people? Okay, a little bit, all right. So we have all these different departments. There's so many moving parts. Communication is so critical. And we have so much information in our own heads, and we don't share it with others. More often than not, we don't share it with others. We hide it. We all have blind spots, right? And what happens if you're going down the highway at 80 miles an hour and you change lanes and there's a car in your blind spot? What happens? You're gonna crash, right? We need people. We need our other departments. We need our managers. We need our front managers. You need your frontline staff to be your what? Blind spot detectors. We need people to take our blind spots and give that information to us so we can improve, all right? We also, by the way, that's my 3-year-old daughter. Isn't she cute? She's so adorable. Anyway, proud dad, you can tell. Now, my 3-year-old daughter, she did this to me just the other day. I literally made this slide not too long ago because she's like, I know something you don't know, Daddy. And I'm like, oh yeah? And I was thinking about this communication thing, right? When you know something that if you have something that's known by yourself, but others don't know it, it's called a facade. And we all have these facades and we hold them in for various reasons. We need to be able to share our blind spots. We need to be able to share other people's blind spots, put our facades out there, and have open, candid communication with everyone in our department. Now, this was created back in the 1950s. This is called the Johari window. It's nothing mystical. 2 psychiatrists by the names of Joe and Harry made this. But Johari's window, basically, they talk about if there's information that's known by you and your coworkers, it's in the arena. So common knowledge, that's information in the arena. You both know about it. You can both do something about it. And it can be something, at a dealership, it can be something as simple as when the BDC gets so many calls for service and we try to transfer them back to the service writers and the service writers don't answer the phone. That could be a blind spot for the service writers. Maybe they don't know they're getting that many calls that can't be answered, right? But the only way to do something about it is if we take that blind spot and we put that information in the arena. We have to create open communication. Sometimes I hear salespeople, when we're doing our cultural assessment, we'll hear salespeople complain about the way their manager desk deals with them, communicates at the desk. I feel disrespected, things like that. But they can't tell their manager. Maybe, and you know, what's going on there? We have facades, and I'll share a facade with you guys. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, so if I ramble or fall asleep on stage, I apologize, all right? So think about this, guys. The arena is common knowledge, and if we share common knowledge, we can all grow. but only if we know what's there, all right? And then there's the unknowns. That's things that neither one of us know, all right? Looks like I'm froze up. Matt? That's all right. I kind of need it, but I don't really. All right. So why don't we put information in the arena? There's only 3 reasons why we don't. Why wouldn't you tell your desk manager that you feel disrespected the way you desk deals? Why wouldn't you? What gets in the way? It worked for you. Thanks, buddy. Oh, the arrows? Sorry, I'm a Gen Xer. I need a millennial to help me. No, I'm just joking. It's the first thing to build a winning culture, make fun of other generations. They love that. No, I'm just joking. So there's only 3 reasons why you wouldn't put something in the arena. Why wouldn't you tell your manager something like that? Why wouldn't you tell one of your coworkers? Okay, your fear of backlash? Okay, that's a really good reason why, man, I don't want to get retribution, right? Why else? Why else wouldn't you put someone's blind spot in the arena for them? Nothing will change. Man, I've told them a bajillion times. Why keep telling them? Fearful of confrontation. What else? Anything else? There's 3 reasons. Number 1, fear of any negative result or reaction. Well, if I tell them that, I'll have to do more stuff. If I tell them that, they'll backlash. They'll yell at me. Why tell them? I keep telling them over and over and over. Nothing will change. There's no value in doing it. That's number 2. And number 3 is quite simply, I just don't know how. If I don't know how to approach someone with that information to put their blind spot in the arena, how could I possibly do it, right? So in any conversation, the first 10 seconds, okay, people are gonna pick a side. They're either gonna fight alongside you to accomplish a common objective, or they're gonna pick the other side and battle against you. How many of you guys feel like, man, every time I'm talking to my manager or every time I'm talking to my sales team, it's kind of a struggle. It's a battle, it's an argument, it drains you, right? You feel like you're pushing a broken down train up a hill or something. That is challenged communication. That means the communication in your culture is challenged, and it's a common occurrence. Don't feel bad about it. But what can we do to, instead of having a civil war, what can we do to improve the situation? First off, we can set rules of engagement, all right? Now, I had just left the showroom floor, and I became the Chief Business Development Officer of a CRM company called DriveCentric. And the first thing I did was share a facade with the entire, I told them all, I was like, just so you guys know, I've been your coach for 6 months, but I've never done software sales. And now I'm in charge of the entire sales department for the CRM. So I want you guys to know I'm going to screw up. And when I screw up, I want you to tell me. I want you to put that information in the arena for me. And here's how I want you to do it. And maybe it's my car business sales manager ego, but pull me aside one-on-one. Maybe it was my military background. I was in the Army for quite some time, spent over 2 years in combat zone deployments. But pull me aside one-on-one, respectfully say, hey, Sean, you have a blind spot, I want to put it in the arena. And as long as you approach me like that, I will never take it as an attack or an insult. So I started working with the account management team first. And I was scheduling meeting after meeting. Every day we were meeting up, trying to create new processes to have the best possible customer service for the dealers. And I like to be efficient with my time, as efficient as possible. So I literally am finishing up a coaching conversation or phone call. I walk in, our meeting's supposed to start at 9 a.m. I finish my call. All the account managers are like you guys, they're just kind of hanging out, talking in the audience or whatever. And then I finish my call. Okay, guys, let's have our meeting. Let's go. And so this happens 3 or 4 times, and I'm still finishing my meeting on time. No big deal. One of the account managers, Ashton, grabs me after the meeting, and he's like, hey, Sean, can we go outside and talk one-on-one? And I'm like, sure, man. What do you want to talk? He's like, I got something to put in the arena. I'm like, no problem. So we go outside, and he says, promise you won't fire me. I was like, I promise, man, I'm not going to fire you. And then he says, so you keep coming to the meeting late. You said these meetings are supposed to start at 9. You come in, you're still on your phone, finishing your call or whatever, and then you expect us to stop our conversation, snap to attention, and then join your meeting? I think that's BS. And he's like, please don't fire me. I'm like, first off, you're freaking fired, dude. Don't ever talk to me. No, I'm just joking. I did not fire Ashton. No, not at all. I thanked him. I said, man, I go, that stings, but thank you. I appreciate that. I had no clue that bothered you, and I had no clue that it was offending you. Tell you what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to go to the ATM. I'm going to take out $100, and if I do it again, just call me out in the meeting. I'll give you $50. If I do it again, I'll give you another $50. After that, I'm sorry, you're going to have to figure out another way to get paid. But knowing me, I hate giving away free money, so I didn't end up. I never did it again. And I'll never forget. He thanked me like 2 months later. He said, "Hey, Sean, I got to thank you. I've never expected a manager to allow me to confront them like that. I've never been in a situation where I was able to do that, and I'll never forget that. And when I become a manager, I want to be the same way. But that's what we have to do, guys. We can give them what we call rules of engagement. So if you're a manager, tell your employees that you want your blind spots put into the arena. Tell them how you want them to engage with you, to share your blind spots, and then be open to changing. Be open to growing, be open to listening to their feedback and making yourself better, because that is what makes you a better leader, is our ability to communicate. If you can't communicate, you can't effectively lead or run anything. And as a salesperson, can you leverage this with your customers, right? Can you imagine? Hey, Mr. Customer, how many times do customers have a blind spot? I should be able to get this car for, about $250 a month. Meanwhile, they're looking at like a QX56. We have customers with blind spots. So ask them, hey, if you had something that didn't make sense, how would you want me to bring it up to where I wouldn't look like a pushy car salesperson? Get permission to share those blind spots. And again, we can't win a war with a one-man army when it comes to communication. We need them fighting along our side. We don't have to feel like every single interaction is pushing down a broken down car up a hill. So what we need to do is we can recruit people. This is beyond setting rules of engagement. This is recruiting people to our conversation. What do we do when you want someone to do something? What is our natural inclination? You want me to make more calls, El Patron? What would you tell me? What's the natural instinct? Get on the phone, man. Make more calls, right? Of course, it's for a good. But what's in it for me if I was to do that? I'd make more money. Okay, gotcha. And what does the money mean for me? It's different for every person, right? That's what we have to do. We need to understand what every person on our team wants most and help them get it. If we're a leader, it's our job to help our employees get what they want most out of their life, out of their career. Guys, it's not all about the money. It's about what does the money mean for you? And if you can take that information and use it as a recruitment statement, and instead of telling our people, you need to do this, okay, because that's what that looks like. That's how that feels for an employee, right? And instead, give them the gift of your positive intent, okay? Tell them what's in it for them. So if I know that my salesperson, and this is there's a salesperson I coach in Jersey, I'm going to see this Saturday, I'll be working there. Gilbert's his name. Gilbert wanted to buy the best, hugest engagement ring his family's ever seen for his fiance. And he also needed to make El Patron's gonna freak out over here. He didn't have a Facebook page. This is a 30-car salesperson, and he's already selling 30 cars without Facebook, and he wants to get this amazing engagement ring for his fiance. And I could have said, you need to make a Facebook page. His manager had been doing that to him for months, and it didn't work. I said, hey, Gil, what I want for you is for you to be able to get the awesomest engagement ring possible for your fiance. I want to see the look on her face, and for that to happen, I see some possibilities here. Like, we can make it happen. Are you open to Absolutely, let's talk about that. So we started talking about Facebook. Within 10 minutes, we had made him an account. He started posting. He calls me not even a week later. I think he sent me a text. And he's like, dude, it's working. I sold 3 off Facebook already. So my point is, instead of telling people what they need to do, again, share your positive intent and share with them what you want for them. Because when you tell someone what you want for them, they'll never feel under attack, and they'll choose to fight alongside you because now your efforts and intentions are aligned to what they want most. And salespeople, do this with your managers as well. El Patron, what I want for you is for you to be able to tell me what you want me to do, and I'm more willing to do it and execute on it and show you that I can step up for our organization. Would you be willing to sit down and talk about some ways that we can desk deals differently together and make that happen? He's in, he's willing to do it. How many managers in here would be willing to have that conversation if a salesperson approached you like that? That's amazing, you guys. We have some amazing leaders in here. It's all about the recruitment statement. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is alignment to the direction of the company. So when it comes to the direction of the company, this is an interesting thing, but does everyone know where the bus is going, and are they excited to be on that bus? How many of you guys like cold weather and like skiing and winter? My buddy Sean Welsh, I know he's gonna raise his hand. I don't know if you watch Sean's videos, but he literally, every video, he's like in Alaska, he's got like dogs running around, I don't even know, but there's snow everywhere. And I'm like, that would not be a fun place to hang out. How many of you guys like the beach? You'd rather go to the beach? Yes, I'm with you guys. We're gonna drink some margaritas or what are those, what are the banana things? I don't know, I like girl drinks. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love them. Well, strawberry daiquiris, all of them. All right. I put that facade in the arena. So alignment to the direction of the company. Does everyone know where the bus is going? Are they excited to be on that bus? I play a game, and unfortunately, I couldn't, because of my flight and all that, I literally wanted to have you guys play with Play-Doh today, but we'll just kind of talk it out here. I play a game to help dealerships do this, okay? So what I do is I give everyone a can of Play-Doh, an unopened can of Play-Doh, and I give you a specific instructions. So, and this is gonna help us understand the importance of alignment to the direction of the company. So let me use Amy. She's like hiding because she knows I'm gonna use her. Amy, if I gave you Play-Doh and I said, Amy, make something, what would you make? Make something. Just off the top of your head. Lindsay, how about you? What would you make? If I said, hey, make something. A stick figure. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jason, if I gave you the Play-Doh and I said, make a lot of something, what would you make? Make a lot of something. Yeah. A lot of money symbols. You just messed up my speech. You'll see why in a second. That's hilarious. No, but that's good. So you'd make a lot of the money symbols. Okay. That's okay.
Make a lot of little people, maybe.
A lot of little people. Okay. All right. Clinton, how about you, my friend? What would you, if I told you make money with the Play-Doh, what would you design? Oh, you'd actually try to sell it. That's interesting. All right. All right, so you try to sell it like part it out, like a dealer. Wow, this guy, before car sales, you're in Vegas, Clinton, no, just joking. He's your guy, hang out with Clinton. Okay, now what if I told Amy, let's go back to Amy here. Amy, Play-Doh, an unopened can, Play-Doh is gonna go out of business in the future. Play-Doh is gonna be worth thousands and thousands of dollars, but only unopened cans. So you'll be able to sell it, and I want you to make a lot of money with it. What would you make with your Play-Doh? She wouldn't do it. She's like, I wouldn't do anything with it. You know what I mean? She would just sit there with the can, right? Guys, you'd keep it. You wouldn't open it, right? You'd wait till it was worth a bunch and you'd sell it. So this is what most people do when it comes to business, sales, leadership. Most people start doing activities. They start, hey, just sell cars. What are we here to do? What do we all here at the dealership? We're here to do what? Sell cars, right? Start selling cars. Activities make habits. We've all heard that. If you do something 21 days straight, it becomes a habit. Our habit gives us our results. Safe to say? Habits, results. Results also shape your values and your core beliefs. How many times, you BDC people are gonna love this one. When salespeople say, we get bad internet leads. Bad internet leads, yeah, she's like, I know exactly what it gives you the heebie-jeebies, doesn't it? Bad internet leads are because they've had bad results. Why? Because their habits, maybe they were calling every customer once, and then they'd say something like, do you want to come in do you want to buy a car or not? You know, whatever they were doing wrong, bottom line, they didn't get good results. Their values became that internet leads are bad, okay? And that takes us to our destination, okay? So when we start doing activities, and then we go into habits, then results, we end up with a destination. Instead, what do high performers do? What does alignment to the direction of the company really mean? Well, here's what it means. It means we start with the end in mind. It means we have that 7-year vision that Frank was talking about. Okay, it's clearly defining what that looks like. The reason is because when you tell everyone, this is the vision, this is what we're trying to create, you can start surrounding yourself with the people that have the same beliefs and values that you do. And how much more fun is it to hang out with your own tribe? People that believe like you do, that have the same vision of success as you do, that want the same thing as you do. That, my friends, is the power of setting a destination. And results are no longer results when you do it this way. Results become goals. And your goals are directly tied to the behaviors, not habits. A habit happens on accident by doing activities, okay? Behaviors are focused and purposeful because you're taking action instead of doing activities. Does that make sense? So start with the end in mind. What does that look like? This is an actual cultural vision for one of my dealerships that I coach over in Ohio. So bottom line is this, guys: loyalty, teamwork, dedication, entrepreneurship. I think dedication, so integrity, trust, loyalty, teamwork, entrepreneurship, and dedication. This is their company vision that we've created together. And it goes all the way from what do we look like as a business to what should we be doing each and every day. And that goes for every single, now that they know what they're supposed to accomplish, okay? What are we trying to create here? Everyone knows how to behave. They know how to make decisions, right? Hey, you know what? Should I post this Facebook Live video? Well, would an entrepreneur? Because that's one of their core values, right? Should I ask everyone for the sale, for referrals, for money down? Should I do that? Absolutely. Would someone who's dedicated? See what I'm saying? All of a sudden, it starts helping them shape the behaviors. So alignment to the direction of the company is the second. The third pillar of an extremely successful culture is clarity around expectations. Expectations are interesting. So we're going to do magic tricks real quick. All right, I know you guys came here to learn about automotive stuff, but instead we're going to do magic tricks. All right, I need you guys to do this with your thumb. Okay, go ahead. Everyone do this with me. Separate your thumb. Yep, you have to do this to be in this conference. Just like that. Do it. Go. Come on, you should be able to do it. I just showed you how. Why can't you do it, Jason? Jason. Listen, man, this is an expectation to be at the Rockstar conference. You have to be able, we're in Vegas. You got to learn a magic trick. You got to separate your thumb just like that. See it? Isn't that crazy? Wait. All right, try it again. Everyone in here, try it again. Go ahead. Can anyone do that trick? Raise your hand if you can do that trick. JP, all right, you can stay in here, JP. The rest of you guys, you got to go. Listen, the reason I shared that with you guys, I'll teach, by the way, the trick is take your thumb and then bend it, and then what you do is you just take your, see what I'm saying? Isn't that crazy when you see it from behind the curtain? But I shared that with you guys because how many times do we do this with our employees at the dealership? Guys, we bring employees into the dealership, and they have what are we supposed to do? Just sell cars. That's their expectations. Just sell cars. As long as you sell cars, everything else will be fine. Well, if you ever want to reach your business's fullest potential, clarity around expectations is absolutely critical. So can you guys read that? This is literally like just a fraction of, this is a Mercedes store I coach, but they have one of these clear expectations for every single employee. Before they promote someone, they make sure that they can meet and want to meet all those expectations. No one gets a job there without signing off on every single bullet point and being able to demonstrate that they can meet those needs. This is about a 4-page document just for the sales team. And then they have used car manager expectations. When should we share expectations? So you've got your business. When do you think is the best time to share the expectations with people? Interview, yes, 100%, guys. Don't wait till after you've hired them. Make sure beforehand, and it changes the dynamic of the conversation later. When expectations aren't met, and no one's perfect, no one's going to meet all your expectations, but when they don't meet them, then you can review that with them. And salespeople, you should also, frontline staff, you should share your expectations with your managers too, because expectations go both ways, right? How do you want to be communicated with? How do you want to be held accountable? How do you want to be trained? How often do you want a one-on-one with your managers? How often should that happen? What would you hope to gain? How do you want, all these are your expectations. When you mess up, when you come in late, what should happen to you? Share these expectations with your managers so they can lead you the way you want to be led. Don't hide that information, because that's one of the biggest mistakes we make in business and in life is we keep these things to ourselves and we expect everyone is going to be just like us. The problem is there's 4 different communication styles. And when we communicate the way we want to be communicated with, you are communicating ineffective 75% of the time. That's why it's so critical we have these open, candid relationships and conversations. So here are some coaching questions for you guys around expectations. Bring these back to your dealership, okay? Number 1, are they written down somewhere? Number 2, are they expectations or suggestions? I was coaching one of my dealers in Jersey. I'm flying there literally in like 3 hours, by the way. I got to get, from now until Saturday, I got to go back. I wish I could stay here all day, guys, and hang out because I have so many friends in here. But I was coaching, and he had created this marketing platform for his salespeople, right? And one of his frustrations was that people weren't using it. And I said, well, is it a suggestion or is it an expectation? Is it a requirement to be on your team? He's like, that's a good point. You're right. I'm like, right about what? I just asked you a question. I don't know what the answer is, you know? And he's like, no, it should be. It should be a requirement. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I want to make sure these salespeople have the tools they need to succeed. If they want to be on my team, it should be an expectation. I was like, sounds good. So let him know. And he did. And as a result, everyone's like, oh, I have to do it now to be here. Okay, I want to be here. I'm in. They all started using it. It was unbelievable. So are they expectations or suggestions? Does every position in your company have its own? Okay, are they updated regularly? If you buy a new tool, right? If you buy Nextsail app, very powerful app, awesome app, you might need to update your expectations. Update those suckers and say, must use Nextsail app, right? Must go through Nextsail training quarterly, whatever it is. So are they changed and are your expectations updated? That should be part of any leader's routine at their dealership. Another is, do you review them with each person before hiring and promoting them? We talked about that. And does each expectation align to your company vision? That once you have that company vision, you can now create expectations that align to it. And you can always ask yourself, does this one align to our vision? No. You know what? And if salespeople, once you have that company vision defined and you see that there's expectations being placed on you, and when I say salespeople, I'm talking BDC, service advisors, everyone, okay? Employees, we're all salespeople, all right? We're all infantry, just like in the Army. But when you guys have expectations that aren't aligned to your company vision, whose job is it to bring that up and challenge that? In America, if the government goes haywire and tries to put us all in martial law, whose job is it to deal with that? It's the citizens. That's exactly it. Same thing at your dealership, guys. You have to be able to challenge those things, but in a respectful way, right? So fourth pillar, the fourth pillar that makes a culture extremely healthy or challenged or anywhere in between is the value of people, all right? And any of you guys sell Highline dealers in here? Do we have any Highline dealers? Okay. Yeah. I know he's got used cars that it's insane. The guy, if you've never seen El Patron's lot, man, watch his videos. It's unbelievable. I've been to the storage. It's crazy how many cars they have. So think about this. You could sell the best car, give the best experience, and then all of a sudden you deliver a car and the thing's dirty. What happens to the entire customer experience? What happens to your survey? Yeah, goes in. And then the customer's trying to call back, right? And service doesn't answer, so then she's dealing with them. Like, okay, just come in and what's your name, by the way? Emerald. Emerald, that matches your shirt. That's cool. Thanks for letting me pick on you, Emerald. So imagine that the whole customer experience is damaged. Why? Because of one $10 an hour employee. So I don't care if you're the porter or the dealer principal, the value that every single person brings to the team is extreme, and we need to treat every single person as such, all right? So to understand the value of people, we also have to understand the value of our customers, right? So at your dealership, who is paying you? The customer. That's right, 100%. The customer is always paying us. And for the customer to pay us, what needs to happen? Okay, got to have good service. Got to make them happy, all right? And whose job is it to give them good service and make them happy? It's everybody's job, all right? And if we're doing what does making them happy and giving them great service really look like? If I had never sold cars before and you hired me right off the street, could I do that? Would that be possible? Maybe, yeah, could be. So what we need to understand, guys, is that if the customer's paying us, and I'm going to throw this out there for you guys, it's the employee who's dealing with that customer, it's their sole responsibility to make that customer happy and give them amazing service. And that happens when that salesperson or employee, whether it's on the phone or in person, is developed properly. All right, I got to ask you, what is a manager's real job? Any manager to do what? To be a good leader. Managers have one job. It's that simple, one job, and it's this: add value to your people, make them worth more, invest in them. And what I mean by that is invest your time. Invest, I'm not saying you have to give them money, but my point is make your people worth more. If I'm a better salesperson, if I'm a better BDC agent, if I'm a better closer, as a result of the time my manager has spent with me, what happens to the paychecks? It goes up, right? The number one leadership behavior that affects your results we're about to talk about. So in order for a manager to be able to add value and make someone worth more, what has to happen for that to occur? Because there are 3 C's. Anyone know, what are the 3 C's of leadership? Caring. Caring is one of them. So they're not in order. But yes, caring, character, and competence, the 3 C's of leadership. If a leader meets all 3 of those C's, then they earn the right to work with their employees and add value to their employees each and every day. Okay, meaning you can have the one-on-ones, you can have those difficult conversations. They're more likely to listen to you and I guess you could say implement what you're training them on. The 3 C's of leadership. Now, I had a theory. I was thinking, I thought to myself, you know what, coaching, and me as a coach, I believe that coaching, I was thinking, I bet it meets all 3 of these needs, right? Because if I'm coaching, then if I'm taking time out of my day, and time's our most precious resource, correct? So if I'm taking regular time out of my day to sit down with someone regularly and help them develop, do I not care about them? There's nothing that when you're investing your time in someone, it is a gift. And that is a very precious gift to give someone. Character, when you're as a coach, we follow up. We inspect what we expect. We're your accountability buddy. We all get busy. We all get crazy. No one's perfect, but your coach, which can be your manager as well, should be there to follow up and inspect what they expect and hold you accountable to your own commitments. Does that not show character, right? And then competence, when you're helping people grow where they want it and need it most, when we're helping guys like Gil get his engagement ring and Amy become a manager in her VDC and all these amazing things, and congrats again, Amy, so proud of her. But when you do those things, you are showing competence as well, right? So I asked my Facebook group, by the way, I'd love to have you guys in my Facebook group. It'd be an honor. We're just about to cross 1,000 members, but I asked my group, I said, of these C's, which is the most important? And this do you remember that poll? I think Clinton voted on it. This poll verified what I had always expected or suspected, which was that coaching meets all 3 C's. So if you really want to be the best leader you can possibly be, you need to learn to coach. You need to learn to coach, all right? And when it comes to people and results, guys, we are in a never-ending battle of trying to balance people and results, right? We need to sell cars. We need to hit our factory quotas. Well, I believe, and we've proven this time and time again at dealers across the country, that when you invest in your people and you focus on the people, the results take care of themselves. It's that simple. And what does it mean to invest in your people? Again, sometimes it's as simple as getting to know them. It's as simple. When you get to know someone on a personal level, you can add so much value to them. You can drive so much motivation and support for you and your cause and your dealership. So I'm going to show you guys how easy it is here, all right? We don't learn in words, right? Like just because I tell you to do something, hey, make more calls, doesn't mean you're going to do it or do it well. Why not? They might not do it well quite simply because maybe they don't know who to call. Maybe they don't know what to say when they get someone on the phone. If I was going to teach you guys how to drive a stick shift, I can't just tell you how to drive a stick shift and hope you can go do it, right? I need to tell you how, I need to show you how, and then I need to watch you doing it. That is a critical, that's a skill transfer process that any leader in this organization, anyone in here can leverage, okay? But I want to show you guys and observe you guys at just adding value to someone by learning about them. So since we don't learn in words, I want you guys to picture it, close your eyes with me for a minute, picture in your mind's eye your first car, your very first car. Picture the color of it. Picture it crashing into a red brick schoolhouse. It's your first school. Your first car is crashing into where you went to school at, okay? Your high school, I guess you could say. And out of the back of the schoolhouse, picture a big paycheck. And that paycheck is your first paycheck from your first job, okay? And that paycheck is bumping into imagine it's bumping into a big black and white hurdle. There's a hurdle that it's bumping into, your paycheck's bumping into. All right, and sitting on top of that hurdle is a pair of helping hands. 2 hands sitting on top of each other just like this. And coming out of that hand is a big beautiful bouquet of Mother's Day, just flowers, beautiful flowers. All right, so go back. What's the first thing that you see? Your first, and it's running into and out of the back is from your first job. It's bumping into perfect, and on top of the hurdle is a pair of, and coming out of the hands is all right, so here's what I want you to do. Stand up with me, guys, stand up. Grab someone in the room you don't know, and I want you to ask them. I'm gonna give you guys 2.5 minutes for this. I want you to ask them I want you to share with the person you're talking to, tell them about your first car, where'd you go to school, okay? Where was your first job and how old were you? What is your biggest challenge? The hurdle is your biggest challenge you've ever overcome in your life. Think about the biggest challenge you've ever had to overcome. The helping hands, who helped you through that big challenge? And then the flowers, who do you need to say thank you to? Who's helped you recently that you need to say thank you to? I want you to share that with the person you're talking to. I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes, go. Who wants to be nice? All right, guys, have a seat. We're going to wrap up here. So tell me, who shared, who had a really big struggle that they shared with someone? Man, who doesn't mind their buddy sharing a big struggle? You don't mind? Go ahead. Clinton, who was your buddy? What's your name? Dawn. Dawn, what was Clinton's biggest struggle? Overcoming a drug addiction. Wow. How many of you guys have been through that? That is Sean back there. That is Amy. Guys, that is one of the hardest things to overcome. A lot of people don't come back from that. Congratulations. Nicely done. Ron, my buddy was Ron back there. And Ron, one of the hardest thing Ron's been through was a divorce. He said his friends helped him get through it. That's awesome, man. Congrats. What about, who do you need to thank? Who's done something amazing for you that you need to thank? Thank you, Valco. Love you, brother. Appreciate you, my friend. How about you?
My other half.
Okay. What are you so grateful for?
Just being supportive and helping me through a few struggles.
That's awesome. Give her other half a round of applause. How many of you guys feel a little, after this little exercise, I literally, when he told me what his challenge was, because I went through that as a kid, I saw that the divorce firsthand with my parents almost started, like literally, it was breaking me down. I was like, we got to talk about something else here, brother. But it's tough. How many of you guys feel a little more valued than you did before you had that conversation? Pretty amazing, isn't it? What happens when you feel that someone takes a genuine interest in you and genuinely cares about you? When you start talking about the things that you're appreciative of and the people that have helped you, what if you turned your dealership into that same sort of culture? What if the conversations like this were the norm and you knew every person on your team at that sort of intimate level? How much more could we accomplish together? Right, guys? So the 4 pillars that make a culture extremely successful, all right? Open and candid, direct communication, but communication that has positive intent and you're trying to help, okay? Always trying to help. Start with that. Alignment to the direction of the company. Make sure everyone knows where the business is going and what you're trying to accomplish. And I've got real life examples of what that does. Actually, Jason Harris asked me on his show earlier, and I had to give him a real example of it. And he was like, wow, I could see why that would make a big difference. Happy to talk about that. Clarity of expectations. Document your expectations. Write them down. Update them frequently, at least quarterly. And then finally, value. Make sure every single person on the team feels valued, because business goes where it's appreciated and stays where it's valued, and your employees and your coworkers and your managers are no different. Make everyone feel valued and they'll stay on the team longer and make their value worth more by making them worth more, okay? This is it. Guys, here's my contact. Thank you so much. Again, blessing. Love you guys. So many friends in here.
How about that, Sean Kelley?
All my contacts there, guys. Hit me up anytime. Thank you.